It's kind of. Her liver was shut down, so I had to take her off all chemo. So she's not taking nothing. Yeah, mine is different than some Rezo. Yeah. I don't know if she's gonna go with you or not. Looks like Lawrence might be.
All right, we'll go ahead and call our meeting to order. Welcome to Oconee County Board of Commissioners meeting. Today is Tuesday, April 27th, 2021. If you're joining us virtually to comment or ask questions during the public comment portions of the meeting, please use the raise hand feature in Zoom. After a moment of silence, we'll ask Commissioner Harden to lead us in the pledge. Please stand for a moment.
To the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Next item of business is to approve the agenda.
Make motion. We approve it as it's submitted.
Excuse me, we need to hold up just a second. We need to add something on there about a bridge repair money. If we can add that as item number 3 under budget items. Talk about emergency bridge repair.
I make a motion, that we approve the agenda with the change to budget items number 3, the addition of the information.
All right, motion second, all in favor?
Aye.
Thank you, motion carries. Next item, any statements or remarks from citizens for anything that's not on our agenda tonight? Anyone virtually? No raised hands. Thank you. Any statements or remarks from commissioners?
No, sir. No, sir.
Couple announcements beginning May 3rd. There'll be some road work done on Epsbridge Parkway. That is for the turn lane extension and also continuous lane coming off 10 Loop. Also on May 3rd, the shoulder widening on Hog Mountain Road from 12 Oaks down to Lake Wilbrook Road will begin as well. So be careful in that area, and you can expect a few delays if you're going through there. Next items are the business involving guests, and we had the tax commissioner Jennifer Riddle had requested an audience with the Board of Commissioners as well as Chief Judge Eric Norris. They have since contact us to defer conversations at this time. So our next item will be to discuss the Parks and Recreation FY 22 concessionaire service agreement. Lisa?
Good evening. You have before you just our annual agreement between Oconee County Little League and Oconee Football Club to run our concession stands. It's the same agreement we've had for the last several years. But if you have any questions, I'll be glad to answer them.
Any questions? We all right for consent agenda? Yep. Any public comment on this item? Anyone virtually? Next item is discuss the renewal of Code Red contract.
Good evening, Commissioners. You have before you an agreement set forth by Onsolve, the parent company for Code Red. We've been able to negotiate a 5-year fixed rate of $9,000. In the past, we've paid $9,750, so we're pleased to be able to get the lower rate. We're pleased with their service. I'd like to ask that you approve the contract. I'll entertain any questions.
I couldn't get that second document to download, so any pertinent information on that? The signature request?
Not specifically, it's just essentially agreement between the Board of Commissioners and Code Red. It's a service we have on an annual contract. The 5-year gets us a lower discounted rate annually, but there's no magic. We'll make sure you can get access to that second document prior to the approval.
Okay. And the other question, does everybody get signed up automatically? How many participate? I mean,
It's not signed up automatically. There's a couple of different features to it. Well, there's multiple features. We advertise heavily the feature for folks in the community to get emergency and routine messaging through it. Not quite sure the numbers as to how many folks are on there. And there's also the feature we communicate internally. So we have contact groups set up to where we can communicate internally. One of the features that I'm very pleased about with this platform is the emergency weather notifications. In fact, Mr. Haygood, I think, was woke up several times on Saturday evening as a result of those storms that came through. So we're pleased with the service. The customer service is impeccable. We feel like it keeps our county safer. Something we want to commit to.
do they keep us apprised of the participation of how many people are actually using the service?
I can log into it and find that data.
Okay.
So it's easily accessible from that platform.
All right. Thank you.
Entertain any further questions? Thank y'all.
All right, for consent agenda on this item. Any public comment? Anyone virtually? Next item is the third quarter FY 21 financial update. I'll be Wes.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman, Board, and citizens of Oconee County. I am reporting on the third quarter of fiscal year 21. That quarter ended on March 31st. And this financial update includes the previous months, but prior to that from July 1st. Pleased to report that the county is financially sound here tonight. The economic indicators, we'll talk about general fund revenue and expenditures. We'll talk about sales tax revenue, loss, and then we'll finish up with the water resources department. So our general fund revenue, just a couple of comments there. You can see that we're well on track. We're 93% collected on our revenue. So we're well on our way. We're in the home stretch of the fiscal year, and April and May and June left, and we're almost through April. Amendments to our revenue to date did include the CARES Act funding and some local option sales tax and real property to true that up. So we will probably, with that CARES Act funding, probably overachieve our revenue for the fiscal year, which is a good thing. Another major cyclical revenue streams are over, and that's the real property tax collection, insurance premium tax, and grants that were received for LMIG and specifically. This is your revenue by department. We received several of our cyclical revenue there. And then some of them have been overachieved on as far as receiving additional funding. But there are no issues there. We're good to go. Some of the public safety, if you'll notice, there was a donation from Presbyterian Homes of $100,000. And so that's what's through the revenue off there from the projected 30,000. That's a note. General fund expenditures. Our budget was amended, and I'm going to go over those amendments. And then our expenditures were 57% expended. Our budget was amended probably the last time we were up here. I was up here, and the projects that we amended it, the budget for to complete expenditures was the Macon Highway landfill site improvements, Snowsville, Rocky Branch roundabout, Ray's Church roundabout, Civic Center renovation. That was mostly a SPOS project, but some component of our general fund. Your Mars Hill Phase 2, your animal services expansion, historic property foundations, fire station number 5, courthouse HVAC. So those were all amendments that drove our budget up a little bit, but it was all voted and approved. And so that's why I'm reporting that tonight. And then our expenditures are 57% expended. Upcoming expenditures that we still have left is our LMIG paving, our generators grant, our E911 equipment, and bridge repairs and finishing that up. And then our Hog Mountain widening. And these are the general fund expenditures by department. Annual transfers will occur during the fourth quarter. And we finish those up as a closing entry at the end. So some of those would include transfers from Public Works to Sanitation, District Attorney to Victim Services, and so on and so forth. So there'll be a fair amount of that at the end of the year. Other than that, everything is on track. Capital projects. These were things that were things that were approved, and they've all been purchased. The aerial flyover has been completed, as well as other equipment that we bought. So the list of the vehicles. So all the vehicles are bought. The tractor has been ordered, and they're ironing that out as we speak. Sales tax. You can see our local option sales tax distributions for this quarter. So we're 80%. You can see where we're collected at 80%, our year to date versus our budget. So things are well on track there, and sales tax are going well as far as the collections are up. Then our SPLOST, same trend line there. As far as our SPLOST is concerned, we have several moving parts there, and I just want to take an opportunity to kind of go over those really quickly. As you know, we have SPLOST 15 is our current one, which we're have a few more months to collect until September, October. And then we start into our SPLOST 2021, our older SPLOST that we had to get projects completed, and all of those projects are underway right now. They're 99% complete. So we have $155,000 remaining in SPLOST 09, and for about $125,873. Now those numbers include not only what was on the referendum, but any interest that would have been earned over time in those accounts. And so that is well on track to be spent by June, the SPLOST 04 and 09. And so we should see that come to fruition. Just as a quick kind of a history lesson, if you will, but over the last 4 years, SPLOST 04 projects that were completed with SPLOST 04 money, and I just showed you there's only $125,000 left in there. is the courthouse addition, the courthouse security upgrades, the administrative services facility, purchasing the land and some engineering work, and the courthouse equipment in response to the COVID-19 pandemic. Then in 2009, SPOS monies that were spent there, projects in the last 4 years, historical property improvements, Eagle Tavern, Central Schoolhouse, Fire Station number 8 was completed with that. Our McNutt Creek Utility Extension, Epps Bridge Force Main, and our farmland protection program as well. So just those are coming to a rapid end here by June 30th, and then there'll only be 2 SPOS to report, the 15, which we're currently in, and then the upcoming one in, which is, we're calling it SPOS 21. These are our project status updates. You can see that we have our components, and these are all on the referendum. And you can see where we are with your bar graphs on expended and remaining funds. And these are the ones for the 15 SPOS. A minute there, you can see that we're well on our way on roads, streets, and bridges. Farmland protection is complete. A little bit more on fire station. Civic Center is a few pending invoices, but that project is nearing its end. Historic Scenic Facilities is ongoing, and we're expecting our first invoice from that project as you see those fences up any day. The library facilities, there'll be a lump allocation that'll be made to them. And so that 17% will quickly go to 100% as soon as that check is requested and issued. And then the remaining are well on their way. Other SPOS projects, just to update you where they are. Our HVAC systems is kind of an ongoing one. It's a placeholder. I think we've used about 6,000-7,000 on that. Our Bogart Sports Complex, they've been issued a notice to proceed, and that one is ongoing as well. The study, that is over a couple of years process, but they're working on that as we speak. And some of the others are complete. The Fire Station 5 is complete in the Axe building. Other projects in progress, your major items, your TIM plan, your water and sewer improvement plan, fire station equipment. The one that's in progress there is the tank truck that's coming, and we expect that early fall. Then you have your others, your animal services facilities, your courthouse technology, law enforcement vehicles, historic property improvements and administrative building are in progress. On to the Water Resources Department, budget of 10 million, 10.2, revenues of 9.2, so they're 90% collected. And so they're in really good shape with their budget. Expenses, 82% expended, so that's about exactly where they need to be on that. They've got a lot of projects going on, and so those projects lead to those expenditures being on time and on task. And you can see that one of the vehicles has been ordered and the other one has been ordered, but not yet quite arrived, but we expect it any day. That completes the financial update for the third quarter. If there's any questions that I could answer, I'd be glad to do it. Yes, sir.
I appreciate what you showed about the SPOS. There was a response to Dr. Becker's write up by the chairman discussing that the state of the county address, we're talking about the E-SPOS, not the E-SPOS, but the T-SPOS, excuse me. And somebody made a comment to that. If you read it, it was almost like we're hoarding money from the SPOS accounts, and we're taking in all this money. I think you did a good job of really showing what we've been doing, because I know since I came back on the commission, that's been one of our goals, was to spend the money that had been sitting in accounts for a long time on projects that would benefit this county, and I think that's what we've done. I hope we put this on the website so everybody that cares to get educated, we get educated. We seem to be doing this about every 6 months, going back over, but my opinion is, once somebody puts that out, we almost have to address it to say, you know, this is what we're doing with SPOS money.
Right.
And I'd also, if you have it, it seems like to me, we spent a lot of money out of fund balance, especially in the road area this past year. I mean, if you want to comment on that.
Right,
too.
right. Yes, sir. So firstly, we'll get this presentation on the website tonight or in the morning, first thing. And so that'll be no problem. And I would like to dispel any narrative that's out there that we're hoarding SPOS funding. We've completed a flurry of projects in the last few years, and that has expended those funds. And in addition to that, where the SPOS didn't have the funding to cover the entire project, the board decided to supplement those projects to make them better, more complete, by supplementing it with general fund dollars through budget amendments. And so some of those projects got finished up even quicker by doing that, rather than waiting for more funds to be collected in some instances. So we did go through a economic recession at one point that slowed down some of the projects, and but that narrative no longer exists.
Yeah, thank you very much
Yes, sir.
for doing that.
Any other questions? Thank you. Now we'll move into the FY22 draft budget presentation.
Okay. It's a presentation, but I'm just going to talk to you about it. As you know, we've been working on the budget since January 26th. I came before you at a meeting here and gave you a budget submittal plan. And then those budget requests were to be submitted back to the finance department by February 26th, which they were. And then meetings began, and kind of really pouring through the budget meetings with individuals. The total request for FY22 for expenditures was $33,140,083. And then the recommendation at this point for expenditures totals $32,596,228. So that is a delta of about $600,000-700,000 between those two. We're going to come back to you with revenue and project that in mid-May. Revenue is a trickier number, and the more data that we can gather, even through April, the more accurate we'll be on that revenue projection. And so before the next public hearing on May 25th at 5:30 p.m. right here, I will bring those revenue numbers to you, and you will have a balanced budget presented to you with revenue and expenditures. We're at the 99.9% level at this point. There are a few decisions to be made. Then that budget will be adopted on June 1st at the regular BOC meeting. So again, right now expenditure recommendation is at $32,596,228.
Any questions on the update on the budget? Any questions? Thank you, Jeff.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Next item is the emergency bridge repair. Justin.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Board, for the record, I wouldn't call these emergency repairs. I'd call these opportunities of convenience right now. As you recall, we awarded a contract to JHC Corporation to perform the bridge repairs identified within the GDOT bridge analysis, and they are currently working out there. And the old 15 bridge, where they currently are today, we received information that there's some pretty significant spalling that has occurred that was not identified on the task order. So the received a quote of $10,500 to add that to the current contract. What this would do is allow them to not have to mobilize another crew out there. It's just an opportunity to, while we have the crew, to fix a problem instead of going back for another one. Public Works Department has this money. They can maneuver within their O&M budget, so it's no additional budget request, but if it's your pleasure, we would request an amendment of the contract with JHC to accommodate this additional work currently. Happy to answer any questions you may have. I don't typically like to do this, but they are currently on site, so if you are amenable to it, I'd like it approved tonight.
Any questions on that? Any public comment? Anyone virtually? We'll entertain a motion at this time.
Make a motion to approve the budget amendment for the opportunity to fix the bridge.
Yeah. Big contract amendment.
Second.
All right, we have a motion and a second to approve the contract amendment for $10,500 and associated budget transfers required. Have any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Thank you. Motion carried. Next item is discuss the strategic plan for 2021 through 2024.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman, Board. We'd like to think more strategically and less reactive like that last agenda item, but so this is the strategic plan, goals, objectives that the board discussed in January. We met with the department heads, and so what this did is it took the identified projects and goals, we placed it within our 4 established goals, which strategic goal 1, smart government, which provides services with efficiency, effectiveness, and citizen engagement. So that leads down to the objectives to leverage technology, improve operational efficiency, continue our thrust with paperless government, which is our digitization project, continue to explore, promote online government interactions, continue lifecycle management, phase replacement, and explore additional GIS capabilities. Objective 2 is to examine business practices, identify best practices within customer service. This is our KPI initiative. We have KPIs that we developed as part of the last strategic plan. We've used those in some departments. This is to further refine and make some management decisions based on the key performance indicators. Leverage additional outside and inside operational efficiency reviews. Complete fiscal policy review and revision, and explore more efficient procurement methods. Objective 3 is to improve and expand citizen engagement experiences. This has to do with the logo and the common vision for the Board of Commissioners and County. Citizen engagement opportunities, continue to improve outward citizen communication through our website and social media platforms. Explore recommendations on specific issues for task forces and enhance regular financial reporting processes for visibility. Objective 4 is leverage training opportunity. This is all online, by the way, on our website. I'm just sort of reading now for the record. Objective 4 is leverage training opportunities for further staff development. These are items within that will create a more formalized staff training and development module to really take our existing staff and further grow and improve their capabilities. Strategic goal number 2 is smart growth for Oconee County. So there will be further UDC revisions of the code as part of the implementation of the comprehensive plan. Examine potential revisions to the design standards, explore potential for property maintenance code. And then we do have coming up a 5-year update to the comprehensive plan process, then determine best model for efficient, effective inspections of buildings. Objective 2 is to determine and create an appropriate economic development strategy. And that task was to adopt the strategic economic development plan, which this board just did. And then the follow-up will be the tasks following that with the implementation tactics. Objective 3 is to identify additional tourism community events and to develop maintenance and operations partnership with the Tourism Visitors Bureau for historic structures. Strategic goal number 3 is smart infrastructure. So objective 1 is to improve broadband, and the tactic under there is to execute the broadband project, which is underway currently. Objective 2 is to develop and implement long-range capital asset. And that is to properly fund our capital assets in accordance with the reserve studies we have from all of our facilities. Objective 3, develop long-term facility strategy, which includes design and construct the administrative building. That RFP is currently out. Develop a plan for surplus repurposing of vacated buildings that we would no longer use. Looking, the long-term goal is to identify potential new civic center if it's desired. Senior center expansion execution, continue our landfill collection site improvements, and explore composting options for the landfill at Calls Creek facility. Objective 4 is develop and maintain an effective transportation network with transportation plan prioritization, commission of road rating study, exploring T-SPLOS for project improvements, and explore potential partnership with UGA Engineering School to identify corridors and concepts for different intersections. Objective 5 is develop and maintain appropriate water and sewer networks, which includes upgrade of the Calls Creek facility to 3 million gallons per day capacity, conservation reuse supply, and then to execute the repair and replacement schedule that the department has identified. And objective 6 is to develop prioritization of the SPLOS 21 projects. That's something we'll be tackling in the next several months. The strategic goal 4 is quality of life. Objective 1 is maintain a high-level park system, which one tactic identify entrance solution plans to OBP, update to the Parks and Recreation Master Plan, develop a plan for the LAS future park site, determine possibility of enhanced common area turf, expand tennis courts per the master plan. Objective 2 is support and ensure effective community-oriented public safety, which includes SPLOS 21 implementation, enhance facility staff emergency planning processes, and to promote and encourage Oconee volunteer fire culture. And objective 3, seek to expand pedestrian and trail opportunities throughout the community. And this has to do with rails to trails, potential pedestrian connectivity, and ultimately a potential component of a future T-SPLOS. These were the goals and tactics and objectives generally identified as part of the January. And so I'm happy to answer any questions you would have. And then absent that, adoption of the strategic plan at the next meeting.
Very good. Any questions?
I got one, just under that last objective, you talk about pedestrian connectivity. Where does the the bicycle, does that work into this in any
That'd
way?
be part of it. So when we say trails or pedestrian, it's really multimodal. And so it could be bikes, it could be pedestrian, but it's something that we would look at, essentially non-vehicular trails and connectivity through the community.
Is this document going to be made public?
Or all our documents are made public.
Well, I mean, I'm sorry, let me rephrase that. Is this going to be out there for public consumption on our website?
Yes, absolutely.
Okay. I just throw out there for the cycle enthusiast in the community. I mean, if they would like to see that, in that verbiage, in that line somewhere.
Sure, we could
Just, thank you.
Any other questions? Take that up for adoption at our next meeting. Next item is discuss the revised water and wastewater standards and specifications. Adam Layfield, please.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. But before Adam speaks, this is a very lengthy and thorough document. And so I just want to make everybody assured you're not expected to adopt this next week. This is several changes they've been working on as a department. It's going to be put out for public consumption. So the ultimate goal is to have these new standards and specifications ready for implementation January 1st of 2022. So we're giving them quite a bit of lead time. I didn't want anybody feel they had to consume their weekend reading this document. Digesting it all.
As Justin stated, the purpose for this agenda item is very, very introductory. Mainly just to get the ball rolling on some preliminary discussions concerning the new wastewater standards and specifications. It'll mainly just affect consultants and contractors. A lot of the changes you'll see in there, in which you have a list of revised changes, and you have the new spec book as well. They're going to be format related just to make the document flow better. This document is published online right now. The last adopted one was 2011, so that makes this thing 10 years old. As I know Mark knows, development's changed a lot in 10 years. It's probably getting about time to update it. We've added additional appendices for mainly just to make things simpler and clear things up for consultants and contractors. We've added an inspection checklist, stuff like that. I'm just going to add a few more things. I won't take up too much of y'all's time. It's going to keep us up to date on newer technologies, materials, and methods. Corrects many issues that we found problematic in the last 10 years concerning material or whether we make a person line a manhole or 5 manholes downstream from a force main, something like that. It does make a big difference on corrosion on manholes and stuff like that. So I don't expect many questions tonight, of course, when you got a 400-page document to go over. But I do expect them to arise over the past or the next month or so, or however long it takes. So I'm here to answer anything I can.
So commissioners, I would suggest that we'll place this document on our website, and if anybody within the design committee wishes to weigh in on it, give some feedback, or this is more of a technical document that sort of brings our specs up. But if you wish to have specific questions, I'm sure Adam or Tim would avail themselves of their expertise. You can ask them any questions.
I'll do the best I can.
Thank you. We do have need of an executive session. It'll be for land acquisition, personnel matters, litigation, and also to review sales tax reporting.
Make a motion, we go into executive session, discuss land acquisition, personnel matters, potential litigation, and the sales tax.
So we have a motion and a second to go in executive session. All in favor?
Aye.
Thank you. Motion carries.
So moved.
Second.
We have a motion second. All in favor? Thank you. Motion carries. Mr. Saxon,
Motion to adjourn.
Second.
we are adjourned. Thank you very much.